and welcome once again to another episode of the Horizon Roundtable. I am Bob McDonald, and you can find me on Twitter at Bob McDonald. And joining me, of course, is my co-host Jimmy Lemke.
Hello, everybody. How's your Sunday morning going? Well, Sunday afternoon. Actually, is it Sunday afternoon everywhere? No, just here.
It also may be whatever day of the week you happen to be listening to the podcast too. So there is that too. So
good point.
Jimmy, of course, you can find on Twitter at PantherU, and you can follow the podcast on Twitter as well at HorizonRT. And Jimmy, this is a pretty, as we've been kind of evolving in the podcast, we've made, as all of you know, we've made the move to HorizonRoundtable.com, and so we decided, just having the podcast on there, was fine, but we wanted to do some more. So what we've gone ahead and done is we're actually bringing on writers for the site. So in addition to the podcast, obviously we're going to have regular content, which is going to be great. And today we are actually joined by three of those writers. And most of them are going to be familiar to you because all of them have been on the show before. Some of the writers, obviously, who weren't able to make it, kind of new faces to us, but we'll get into that a little bit later. We'll start off with Carrick Jones. Obviously, you guys know who he is. So, Carrick, give everybody a little welcome and tell us a little bit about yourself that we didn't already know.
Excited to be here. Former layout editor of the Varsity News at U of D. Covered the men's team for 4 years, either on the radio or with the paper, from 2012 through 15, I think, through Rays last year. Former good friend of and friend of the program, Carlton Brundage. I'm excited. I'm excited about what Mike Davis has with this team, and excited to get back on press row and Callahan and get everybody maybe some good sound bits and quotes from Davis and Davis Jr.
There you go. And of course, Carrick, of course, you neglected to mention that you also wrote for me at the Campus Press Box
I
as
did.
well. So
yes.
yeah,
That's true.
Yeah. So
he's trying to forget himself.
Fine. Hey, I thought you had. I thought it was a memorable experience. So whatever, dude.
I had some good articles.
I thought you did too. So, all right.
I actually liked his writing, Lee.
There you go. So up next we have Mark Weems. Mark Weems, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, how you guys doing? My name's Mark. I'm a Youngstown State proud Penguin. I worked for the Jambar for what felt like 100 years. At least 3 as their sports editor. Obviously for basketball, I'm pretty excited. The women's team has always been pretty good, and maybe finally all of Jared Calhoun's recruits will turn into a winning basketball team this year, so that'll be exciting.
I hope so.
Yes.
Mostly just writing about all the different sports, but mostly basketball. Covered the last year of the almighty Jerry Slocum. So it'll be fun to see what Calhoun has in store and what he's really trying to build. Nobody really knows yet. Everybody's still trying to figure out what the world's going on, and I think everybody's kind of probably will be surprised by what they'll be this year. I hope.
So
there's always a chance.
There is indeed.
There is a chance.
All right, and then another familiar face to all of you, familiar voice to all of you, considering he was just on like a couple months ago, Kyle Craven.
Yeah, hey guys, I'm Kyle from the Norse Report. That's NKU for all you guys who are still getting familiar with who we are. Excited to be here. Really looking forward to the season. I'm not getting a lot of love on the North side for this, but I don't think that we're going to be, as good as we have been the last few years this year. But I do think that we're going to be an exciting team to watch. So I'm really excited to cover and talk about it.
I thought you were saying that you weren't getting any love for coming onto our podcast.
Oh,
I'm
yeah, well.
confused.
Well,
No,
those people really don't like me.
I mean,
So
someone's got to do it. So
Yeah.
To be fair to the Northern Kentucky fans, Carrick, who does like you?
that's
wow.
true.
well,
How soon we forget?
Actually, I'll tell you what, Bob. I'll tell you what. Should we pivot and talk about that just for a second?
Not.
I don't think Carrick and I have actually gotten a chance to discuss that.
Not yet. I wanted to actually. I wanted to introduce all the rest of the writers too first, and then.
I will.
Okay.
But I
Yeah.
mean,
So. All right. So. We have 4 other writers. Unfortunately, none of them were able to make it today. We have a Cleveland. We actually do have a Cleveland State writer. It's not me.
Shame, John Parker.
I'm getting to that, Jimmy.
Okay.
But Brianna Oldham is going to be our Cleveland State writer. She is heading into her senior year at Cleveland State University. She's studying journalism and promotional communication and psychology. So she's also an active volunteer and music lover. She's big on family and positive vibes, which is awesome because I'm the opposite. I mean, on the positive vibes at least. I'm big on family too, dude. Come on, you guys. But full of laughs and lover of all things basketball, so she'll fit in well with this group. Also, we got who's going to be writing for Oakland. It's going to be Michael Pierce. Michael is actually a journalism student at Oakland University. He is the sports editor at the Oakland Post, the student newspaper, and that's his second year in that position. So he's traveled to the Cintas Center, Little Caesars Arena, and Callahan Hall to cover the Golden Grizz, and who will continue to do that in his junior year, along with doing stuff for us. Despite being a student, he remains an objective critic of the team, and he looks forward to the challenge that this season will present for the team after all the team changed. He also loves the NBA and the NFL. He's a big fantasy football player, especially his favorite NFL team, especially since his favorite NFL team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, are slowly decomposing. Okay, so that's Michael. That's Michael. And then our IUPUI writer is Ryan Gregory. He is a senior sports major at IUPUI. He's covered IUPUI men's and women's basketball, volleyball, and men's and women's soccer for the past 3 years at their student newspaper, the Campus Citizen. And he's originally from Fort Wayne, which is too bad he can't make it because we're going to be talking about Fort Wayne today. And then, of course, finally is I want to call him our at-large writer because he's probably going to write about literally anything that strikes his fancy, which is just Jimmy, John Parker. Guy who probably needs no introduction. He's been writing all over the place for years. He's written for Busting Brackets. He wrote for Campus Press Box at one point in time too. So we're really excited to have him aboard as well. So
and a college friend of mine.
And a college friend of Jimmy's too. There you go.
We've gotten into trouble on hijinks.
Nice.
Oh no.
Wow.
And yelled things at people.
See, this is why I'm sad that he wasn't able to join us because I'm sure you guys could have regaled us with. I would have enjoyed listening to some of those. We'll get them on.
We've had a pretty steady amount of DMs for since he graduated, which was not long after me.
So sometime in the 90s.
How old do you think I am?
I'm
Dude,
messing with you.
I'm older than he is, so God.
No.
I'm 32. Damn it.
That's all of our. So that's kind of our writer slate. Notice that we are still looking for writers for Milwaukee, Green Bay, UIC, and Wright State. So if any of you are interested in writing for us, just visit the website horizonroundtable.com.
I will say this as a selling point.
Yes.
To any potential writers out there.
Yes.
The people who have written for us, either at Campus Press Box or in various Horizon League level,
yes,
publications or something in the past, or for people who've written for me at Panther U before, we've been a pretty solid stepping stone for people.
Mm-hmm.
When you're writing for your college newspaper, a lot of it's great for it's great when your college newspaper is printing and you see your name in print and you have something you can send your parents. But the downside is that there's usually 10 or 12 guys. Well, if it's a well-run paper, there's usually like 10 people who are writing for that paper in the sports section, and you're spending a lot of time writing, smaller sports, which is no problem.
Yeah.
And I think everybody should write smaller sports. I think everybody should be able
Absolutely.
to write about, gymnastics and swimming, and up at Green Bay, they should be able to write about, Nordic skiing and all that. But basketball is the show.
Yes.
And not everybody was able to step into a situation like I was as a freshman and be able to cover men's basketball right off the bat.
Mhm.
It's a show. It's the big deal, and you're not always able to do it right away. But people have done it for us, and it's been a great stepping stone where you're able to kind of write what you're trying to write.
Mm-hmm.
We're less worried about getting articles that are, recaps of the games that night, and more. We want to know the stories. We want to know the analysis. We want you to be able to dig deeper, and not just put out opinions in like columns, but be able to write features and grow as journalists and writers, so that when it's time for you to graduate or time for you to move on or anything, you're able to find your voice, get a solid basis, and add to that clip file that you can send any prospective editors who are looking for somebody who has the ability to do good work. So if that's something that interests you,
yes,
I have no problem hiring. I have no problem bringing somebody in. I don't want to say hiring.
Yeah,
we don't have the money.
We don't have any money.
We don't have any money available. But I will say this: I have no problem bringing in somebody to write for Milwaukee who is not a Milwaukee student. We shouldn't have to. Damn it, journalism school, damn big enough as it is. But I'm happy if you want to write about something else, or if you're somebody out there who maybe wants to write about the Horizon League at large, like John Parker is going to be doing.
Yep.
You're more than welcome to talk to Bob or myself on Twitter at Bob McDonald or at Panther U
or at Horizon RT.
Or in Horizon RT. We're more than happy to have a conversation and see if there's somebody else. I mean, obviously we've got some pretty good writers who are here to talk to you guys today. So
absolutely.
Let's if it's something you're considering, feel free to approach us.
Absolutely, and that's a hell of a sales pitch, Jimmy. That's great.
Well, I do sell cars.
Well, yes. So I figured the sales guy should be. Yeah, I suck at selling things. So there you go. So maybe So. All right. So that's the pitch. I mean, we're obviously Jimmy and I. We've given our background. Both of us are coming from both of us have came from our college newspapers. We've transitioned online. Jimmy way before me, obviously, which is funny because I'm older than all of you. We didn't have the internet back when I started school. At least not anything until I'm gonna get in my old guy voice. I'm not gonna do that right now. All right. So with that said, we're gonna go ahead and just kind of move on to the subject matter. But because we had some big news this week. Because Fort Wayne is now going to be a part of the Horizon League now. I can't really say that I'm necessarily surprised by the move. They've been kind of telegraphing it for about a year now. So they're going to be coming on board in 2020. So I'll just open it up to the group, and what is your kind of assessment on this at this point in time?
Cool. I mean, they're not anything exciting. They're not Belmont or when Northern Kentucky came in, or like Murray State, but it's good for the non-basketball sports.
That
really
is,
solid soccer programs. They got baseball.
I think the baseball thing is probably the more important thing because obviously, when IUPUI came in, they didn't have a baseball team. So, um, I
I'm going to say this about baseball. I think that we've been marching towards something for a few years that we should just get over with and save both conferences. The Summit League also has a problem with membership that the Horizon League has, where they've only got like 5 teams.
huh.
At the moment, they've got 5 teams right now because they're losing Fort Wayne. So when we had that problem when we lost Valpo out of the conference for a brief moment. And now they're having the problem too. So I realize that giving up an automatic qualifier to the NCAA tournament is something that people don't want to do.
Yeah.
But maybe, just maybe, we can keep in our back pocket the option of combining the baseball conference of the Summit and Horizon League into one conference so we don't have to worry about like losing membership and not being able to field the conference anymore and not being able to get into the NCAA tournament.
As somebody from a non-baseball school, because we bailed a long time ago, it's not
you bitches.
Hey, blame John Perry. I blame John. It's John Perry's fault. He's the one who decided that he's the one who decided baseball didn't want to be here. He didn't want baseball here anymore. So, I'm gonna blame John Perry for a bunch of shit for many, many years. So I'm good with that. But yeah, I mean it's when you have a situation, and I'm not even sure. I'll be honest with you. I'm not even sure who the baseball schools in the Summit League are at this point in time. But when you look at it, it's probably not. I mean, it's that's something that might be something they want to look into in the future. I don't know, but it seems to me that there's a lot more in the way of that's. I don't want to say that's incidental that all that happened. I think realistically, I think the emphasis has been on basketball, and I understand too that with this move to the Horizon League, apparently there are going to be some upgrades. Yeah, we heard this last time with IUPUI, but again, we're hearing this concept of kind of upgrading the basketball program, and as I understand it, one of those moves is going to be, I guess, doubling the salary of John Kaufman, the basketball coach, in anticipation of moving over to the Horizon League. So, which is interesting, and I always find it interesting that even though for at least the last couple of years, probably it got a little better this year, but during kind of the really down years for the Horizon League, the Summit League was their performance overall was a little better than the Horizon Leagues, which is obviously disconcerting. Should be disconcerting to everybody as a whole. But when you look at it, though, when you look at the salaries that are coming out of for the Summit League, they're considerably less. I mean, how else do you explain Scott Nagy, getting offered a whole lot more money to coach at Wright State than he was at South Dakota State. South Dakota State, which let's face it, is a really what has been a really excellent basketball program. So I think that is it's funny because we've talked about how down the Horizon League has been over the years, but still it is for one reason or another. It's still kind of it's still a desirable spot for a coach in maybe one of the lower conferences to go. So
yeah, as a fan of a team who lost their coach to a much higher salary, I think that's a great move to double his salary.
Yeah,
to keep him on board.
Well, what's funny though, Kaufman's name was actually tied to the Cleveland State job at one point in time too. So he was I guess his name was being bandied about as a replacement for Dennis Felton. before obviously obviously he didn't take obviously he's not at Cleveland State anymore, so he's at Fort Wayne. Maybe this is one of the reasons why, knowing that this was going to be a move for them, this was going to be an upgrade for them. I don't know, and maybe, and don't get me wrong, John Kaufman has done some pretty good things at Fort Wayne. I think a move to the Horizon League for Fort Wayne as opposed to IUPUI is a step in the right direction for them, because you can see them, because they haven't had bad teams over the last few years. So it's not like the situation with IUPUI where it's where we're all scratching our head wondering why they're here. It makes a little bit more sense that Fort Wayne is coming in. If for no other, and to me, I think it's more of a geographical thing. I think we've gotten to the point now where the Horizon League has kind of solidified themselves as a Midwest mid-major conference. Probably not unlike consider it a non. I think they're trying to aspire to be kind of a non-football version of the MAC, even though the MAC obviously has performed a lot better over the years.
We should just call this the Rust Belt Conference. To be honest with you,
Pretty much.
You know what?
Basically.
Oh, let's do it.
The Rust Belt Conference, yes.
I mean, basically, we have every Rust Belt state but Pennsylvania, so we might as well.
Go get Robert Morris.
Aha, yes. I'm glad you brought Robert
Add
Morris
the
up,
prop.
because that may be Robert Morris, and that brings me to my next question. We've got 11 teams. Is there going to be a 12th one?
Can I throw something by you, Bob? This
Sure.
is something we mentioned yesterday on the recording of the Norse Report podcast. There's a team that NKU went back and forth with in our history at D2. It was our biggest rival now called Bellarmine University, and they just went D1.
Yes,
and they're joining the A-Sun. So
they are.
That's another interesting one. I think personally.
They have all
Bellarmine, like Kentucky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bellarmine.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're in Louisville, so it's not too far from NKU. It wouldn't be like it's within the region.
Yeah.
And they've had tremendous Division II success.
Yeah.
So
and they have D1
I don't know.
lacrosse.
Yeah.
They have what?
Sorry,
They have D1 lacrosse.
They do have D1
Fort
lacrosse.
Wayne, and we're bringing in IUPUI. We're not above bringing in new D2 teams anymore.
Well, no,
We're not above it. We have
don't
lowered as a conference. It's fine. I
Well,
don't think it's a bad idea.
And that's what that was kind of my point on the Norse Report podcast was, I think we got to get over the fact that like we're going to get a team like an SIU to come into the Horizon because they're already in what I would say a better conference.
Yeah.
We got to start looking at like these kind of high risk, high reward teams. Like NKU was a high risk, high reward team for you guys.
Was it a high risk team? I mean,
I
thought
I don't know about that.
you guys had facilities better than most of the conference.
Sure.
You had,
Sure.
you
On
had
paper-
an enrollment that could support it. I
Listen,
didn't think that was a hard deal at all.
Okay, well, let me make the case for why it was, and I can't believe we're like arguing the opposite sides here. I'm arguing against NKU, but I'm just going to tell you like why.
It's like we're in a
why
parallel universe now.
I know, right? But,
Sure.
but hear me out. Yes, we had the facilities. Yes, we had the infrastructure. Yes, we had the money and stuff like that. But at the time, we still had a D2 coach as our head coach. We still had we had never finished better than fourth in the A-Sun, which is a significantly worse conference than the Horizon at the time. We still had a bunch of D2 players. Granted, all that can change over time, and it has. So I agree with you that like the infrastructure was there, but we hadn't we didn't have really a proven track record of success at D1 level yet. It was kind of my thing. And when we came up to D1 from D2, we really didn't have a ton of D2 success outside of like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Bellarmine has been significantly more successful than us. In fact, in my first 2 years in college, we played them 4 times and got our ass whooped every time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my point. I wasn't saying that NKU was a risk to the Horizon necessarily, but you guys definitely didn't know for sure that you were getting a team that was going to win the conference, or a share of it 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
It
I
was
guess
kind of
what
my
I'd
point.
say is, I guess what I would say is, I'm educated. Bob and I are educated. Back when Northern Kentucky was looked at as a possible school to add to the conference. In fact, back when we were about to add Oakland to this conference,
Yeah, that was.
I was speaking with several chancellors and presidents at our universities, and most of them recognized that after Oakland, Northern Kentucky was going to be the school.
Yeah.
So that was,
awesome.
the NKU was on our radar. I mean,
Sure.
we had to know. There's an article right around the move to Division I, where the president or chancellor, I don't know which one you guys have at NKU at the time.
It probably would have been Jeffrey Mearns, probably.
Actually, it was Votruba.
Okay.
So he gives an interview where he mentions that the Horizon League is seen as a destination for them.
Yeah.
That this is where we want to be, is at this level.
Mhm.
And let me tell you, as a fan of a Horizon League program, that's not something that we're used to hearing.
Never.
No, it's nice to hear.
Ever.
We're just kind of the way station.
So it flipped a switch for a lot of us.
Yeah.
Because
So
everybody does treat this place like a way station. And yeah, now that the move is to IUPUI's home arena is happening, now we're hearing Northern Kentucky fans, and obviously even Northern Kentucky as a university, start to, show signs of being pissed off at LaCrone.
Yeah.
And maybe wanting to move on to the next one. I don't know if the MVC is willing to do it. I don't know if the A10 would be willing to do it. But maybe there's a spot to move up for NKU. But really, I feel like you guys have been very happy with your time in the Horizon League.
Absolutely. Yeah, from my perspective, I do say that pressure needs to be put, I think, on the commissioner, just because of how the whole conference tournament thing went down. But I've been pumping the brakes on that. I don't think it's as big of a deal as everyone says it is, because at the very worst case scenario, if IUPUI makes it in there into the top 4, I'm not convinced that they're going to have more fans there than we will. To be honest,
in fact, I doubt they will.
No.
IUPUI is very much a lot like Milwaukee in that it's a very large school with a very apathetic community that really doesn't give a flying fuck about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if IUPUI were to get into the championship game, I have no doubt in my mind that IUPUI would fill the Farmers Coliseum. I'm sure they would, but I'm also sure that because that LaCrone is going to want to save enough face, that they will make sure that there's enough tickets to sell to whoever else is going to be coming up for that game, or coming down for that game.
And that's the way
sorry,
I was just gonna say that's the way I've been pitching it to our fan base as much as I can. Is who gives a shit if it's in their home arena? This is what we wanted. We had wanted Indianapolis for a while because that is an absolute level up for us. And no offense to Carrot, but just driving out to Detroit was not easy for us, especially on weeknights. Nobody's taking time off.
It's
I can understand the not wanting to drive, but I don't think you're getting a better venue or destination.
No. That's not the argument. I'm just saying in terms
I think it's a better venue.
Than Little Caesars?
Well, you're thinking of Little Caesars Arena as a basketball arena in general. I'm thinking as a sports arena in general.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Little Caesars Arena as being about 3 times too big for the Horizon League Championship.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
I think that's
look
a
at
big
the
deal.
Farmers
And I don't like
Coliseum being
villages.
8,000 seats is
I
a
don't
great
like that
fit.
place, but it's the nicest arena in the country, and you can't deny it.
Sure.
No, I'm not denying.
But you gotta remember, because you gotta admit though too, the whole point of having the Horizon League at Little Caesars Arena was kind of a dress rehearsal for literally every other thing. Yeah, for the Big Ten, for a couple of rounds of the NCAA tournament, the Frozen Four. that's what they were setting
yeah.
this up for. They, it was incidental that they, did all that. They brought in the Horizon League because obviously the MAC's not available because they've been in Cleveland since the beginning of time.
Bringing the Horizon League tournament in was about a dress rehearsal and showing the Big Ten they can run a tournament.
And they absolutely
that
could.
wasn't about.
And I gotta say, having never been to Detroit, when I went up a year ago, it was way nicer downtown than I thought it was. So, I mean, I'm not hating on Detroit at all when I say that it's a better move for us to be in Indy. I'm just simply saying that our fans can leave work at 5 o'clock on a Monday, get to the game, and still get home in time to be at work the next day.
Right.
Like, with the game being in Indy, that's a huge deal for us, and that's why I've been pitching to our fans that it is a level up for us. Because it's just logistically it's easier for us to get to.
It's the same for Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I mean, Detroit's a 7-hour drive for us. Indianapolis is a 4-hour drive if things are going slow. It's not a hard drive, especially once you get past Chicago, and it's just one straight shot all the way down to Indianapolis. Like it's great. And when you think about Indianapolis. Yeah, the Banker's Life field, Conseco, whatever we want to call it. The field house is like the LCA, too big for the Horizon League tournament.
Yeah, and all within
Hinkle's not. We're not going to go play in Hinkle, obviously, because
they're not going to let you.
No way.
Even if they did let us, I wouldn't want to do it. As much as I love that building so much, I'm not going to do that. Because that's obviously that would look so bad for the Horizon League to be like, oh, we want to have any connection with Butler, we can't. So the Farmers Coliseum's a great fit, newly renovated, perfect size,
centrally located,
location, and Indianapolis is let's be honest, Indianapolis is a town that is built for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now, I think the next question is, do you think Fort Wayne will get it after Indianapolis? Because Fort Wayne's got an awfully nice arena.
Really?
I hope.
For the Horizon League, it's nice.
You talking about the War Memorial?
Yeah.
Really?
It's big. It's like 13,000 seats.
It's nice, though. Everything they got in that parking lot there, they got it set up to be, it's the only action in town.
Well, that is true. I mean,
something.
Yeah. What else? Yeah. What? Yeah. What exactly? Yeah. That is true. I mean, after all, what else is going on in Fort Wayne?
Right.
Not much.
They got the Mad Ants NBA G League and the Tin Caps.
There you go.
The Tin Caps minor league baseball.
There you go. I mean, I wouldn't be. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily. I'm not really necessarily against potentially getting having the tournament moved to Fort Wayne, but I mean,
well, what about Chicago?
Why don't we cross that bridge when we get to it? Really, I mean, honestly.
Yeah, we have so many. I don't know. We have so many better cities in this conference than Fort Wayne. I get that it's centrally located, but if we're looking for central location, let's just keep it in Indy. I mean, or like Carrick said, Chicago wouldn't be bad.
Yeah. Oh, and
I'd be a big fan of Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
Grand Rapids could be cool.
Grand Rapids would now, and I know Grand Rapids, if I'm not mistaken, actually did put in a bid for the tournament. I believe because they've got the what is it, the DeVos Center up there?
Well, they have two. They have Van Andel, which is connected to the DeVos Center. That's DeVos' own.
Yeah.
Then they have this little old hockey arena called the Deltaplex.
Oh.
That you get a lot of rock concerts and hockey teams at.
I see.
My little brother lives there. It's all right. It's
Gotcha.
It's probably not Horizon League tournament venue, but yeah, Van Andel would be nice. I mean, it's a minor league hockey arena.
Yeah.
They do all the big concerts there. I'm going to see Eric Church in October.
There you go.
So just for the things to do outside of basketball, that's probably the best venue you could get because they have all of the beer.
But yeah, so I mean, and again, obviously, but then again, for the next 3 years, it's in Indianapolis. But we know what Indianapolis. We all pretty much know what Indianapolis is about. So we'll spend the next 3 years trying to figure all that stuff out. And then we'll kind of go from there. I honestly don't think they're moving. I'll be honest with you. I don't think they're moving out of. I think after this 3-year deal, I don't think they're moving out of Indianapolis. I don't think so.
Can we
think
talk
that-
about? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sure.
I was going to say before we wrap this up about Indianapolis. Let's be at least a little bit honest here and realize that this isn't like this is IUPUI's on-campus arena. This is off campus. This is away from campus.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're descending everybody down upon IUPUI's campus,
Right.
and there's 30,000 students who are going to be crazy about the game.
Which they
This
will.
is something that's away from campus. They're not going to care until the championship game, even if they do then.
Yeah.
I don't look at it as being a home game for IUPUI, and I honestly, like, if we look back at IUPUI, I have some serious doubts about whether or not their home record is that much better than their away record over the last 10 years.
And there's not even a I mean, and especially this year, I don't even really see a possibility of them even making it to the Final Four. Honestly,
Thank you.
Give us their best
Exactly.
player.
given the
Cam Justice is no longer there,
Yeah.
so they're in big trouble.
I mean,
They're going to be.
they're almost.
Well,
Yeah.
let's be fair in that the one year we shouldn't be doing it on whether or not they can get there, because if this is going to be a home for the Horizon League tournament for a long time, it doesn't matter what they're going to do this year. It matters what they can be in the next several years.
Well, and honestly, sure. I consider that a question mark too. I mean, really? Let's be, if we're being honest, you look at how IUPUI is set up, and it's like, okay, they just lost Cam Justice. I mean, they got a couple of good kids. They got a couple of good players, but where does that go moving forward? Not to mention the fact, how is that going to affect his coaching staff? Is Jason Gardner going to be around after next year? Who knows? I mean, there's a lot of moving parts for IUPUI that they have to address this year in order to get to a point where they're going to be, where we would have an argument about them being in the top 4 teams. Because let's face it, as I see it right now, the way IUPUI is set up at the moment against the rest of the league, as in proportion to the rest of the league, I don't see them being in the top 4. I don't see them being in the Final Four. Not with the current makeup of the Horizon League as it stands right now. I just don't see it.
What's so interesting about the way this tournament is set up is that if IUPUI in any of the next 3 years is able to get the 3 seed, for instance, they'll play 4 straight games in their home court. Isn't that interesting?
But is they ever going to? I mean, but again,
are
the
they?
likelihood of that is very low, though. I mean, maybe they could do it 1 year. I could give them a possibility of having them do that 1 year, be able to do that 1 year.
Maybe they have in-state competition now, so I guess we'll see.
They do indeed. But just looking at the infrastructure of every other team in the Horizon League against IUPUI, I just don't see it. I mean, they've got an uphill climb to make it to the top half of the conference at this point.
I think that's why. Honestly, that's why our fans have been tempered down a little bit more on it to bring this all back to the whole NKU leading the conference thing. That all got charged up because obviously, as you guys know, Northern Kentucky put in a bid as well, but to use Cincinnati, as our general central location. We were pissed because it didn't get accepted or whatever, and everyone kind of lost their shit. And I think what tempered it back a little bit is the realization that, and I'm just going to say it, IUPUI is not that good, right?
No.
If Wright State had won the bid, or if Oakland had won the bid, or something, we would have been a lot more charged up, I think. And honestly, if Northern Kentucky, if Cincinnati had won the bid, I would expect people to be upset about that because it's an advantage to have it in your hometown.
I would have been more bothered by it moving the tournament for the conference so far away from us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Detroit is
that's
far
true.
enough as it is. moving it to NKU would have been just a total pain.
And I tried to explain that to our fans as well. I was like, look, you can't expect everyone to come way down. We're the southernmost point of the conference. Like, we can't expect everyone to come down and see us. Like, we got to go beat them halfway. And that's the other thing.
South.
Indy is the deep South. Indy is the headquarters of the Horizon League. We can't. I mean, what do we expect? So I don't know. I just think everyone just needs to take a step back and get over it.
The
I think that the big
office,
Yeah.
I think that the big charge here is for the Horizon League to round it out and get one more team to come in.
Yeah.
That's like what they really need to do, because right now, as we sit, our travel partner stuff is all fucked up right now. Sorry for cussing. Sorry.
Sorry. Have you listened to our show? We don't really care about cursing at this point.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Fuck,
And our conference schedule is going to be an absolute shit show. So we got to get somebody at now.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway.
Yeah, that all makes sense. I mean, honestly, and I'll be honest with you guys. I mean, you guys probably as you guys have probably figured out, what the tournament looks like for me is kind of the furthest thing from my mind at this point. Wonder why?
Well, it shouldn't be. You're one season removed from upsetting NKU as the 8th seed. So
that's true. That's true.
Anything can happen in the Horizon League tournament.
Well, this is very true. And now that all the teams are back in, are 1 through 10 are now back into the tournament.
It wasn't that long ago that wouldn't have been a real achievement for Cleveland State. So
that is true.
Yeah, true.
10 years ago that would not have been. Yeah.
When you got 10 years ago, while you guys were in D2, Cleveland State was whopping the shit out of teams in the NCAA tournament. So
yes.
Oh yeah, I remember. Hashtag North Pole. Hashtag Trey Lyles.
Yep. That's right.
Or not Trey Lyles. What was his name? Trey Lewis. No,
that would have been Cedric Jackson in 2009. But yeah, Trey Lewis would have been a little few.
Dude, Janathan Bullock. What an awesome team, man!
It was a great team. I know. You guys are making me a little wistful for the old days, especially considering how things have just gone to, how everything just got blown up in the course of about a month. But I will say this: Dennis Gates is not screwing around. He actually. Yeah, I'm glad you guys brought that up, because Dennis, I still think Cleveland State's got a really big uphill climb this year, but I think it's only going to be this year. I mean, first of all, Dennis Gates was able to get Jalen Hill, who was the second leading scorer on this team, and Spider Johnson. Both of them are back at Cleveland State now. They're out of the transfer portal. They're coming back to Cleveland State. Thank God somebody did.
Tyree Appleby?
Tyree Appleby is still going to Florida. Tyree Appleby is still in Florida. Rasheem Dunn just decided to go to is now at St. John's, and obviously Rashad Williams is at Oakland. But yeah,
that wasn't like a transfer. Wasn't somebody sick or something?
I believe so. Yes. So
I'm sorry, but I don't really understand how you can live in Wayne, Michigan, or Detroit, wherever he lives, because let's be honest, no one that goes to Wayne Memorial lives in Wayne. And if something that's 45 to 50 minutes away, apply for the exemption. He should have had to go to U of D or Wayne State. Actually, if he's from Wayne, they should have made him go to Eastern, because it's right next door.
Well, I have no idea what happened, but needless to say, I don't know. I'm sure that'll be the subject of another show. I'm sure, or I'm sure we've talked about it a couple of times. But hey, I'm just happy that Cleveland State's going to be able to field a team next year. just the way everything started out at the beginning in the middle of July, I was really thinking we were going to be pulling kids out of the rec center to slap it on a jersey and say, "Here, go defend these guys who have been, playing since the beginning, playing on, competitive teams."
John was going to be playing. You'd have Pronkville, John Berna playing for Cleveland State basketball. Could you imagine him
That's
out there
not
with
funny.
like the
That's
headband
mean.
and wristbands?
Oh man, yeah, no, no.
Super fair.
I would pay so much money to see that.
Oh God.
I'm telling you, it's an attraction. I don't know why people don't think that.
That's because
This shouldn't
people
be
like.
funny.
That's
This
because
is
people
gonna
like
sell
watching a
tickets. Come
train
on.
wreck. Come on. Oh, that's terrible.
Bob, is Brandon Longdemeyer still at Cleveland State?
He is indeed.
Oh, he could sell the heck out of that.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
Brandon would have had a field day with that one.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, he's gonna have to come up with some better ideas because he's on the clock too now. Now that he has an actual, now that he has an actual boss who cares.
I like him a lot. He
Yeah.
was good when he was at U of D.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean it's a whole new ball. Yeah, it's a whole new ball game at Cleveland State. I mean, yeah, they signed like 4 or 5 guys already.
Wow.
I know. Seriously, they got 2 JUCO guards, kid named Tyrese Potoma out of Laramie County in Wyoming, and then they got a kid out of Georgia, and I can't even make his kid's name is Trey Go Million. So I'm looking forward to him playing too. And then it looks like they got a kid out of Portugal. They just signed him. It sounds like he just got signed like he announced his signing like last night or something, Saturday night. And then who else? And they also had another kid. Another kid, Dalen Williams. Yeah, there's like 4. These like signed like 5 guys in the last week. Hugo Ferreira is the kid from Portugal, by the way.
Well, you only had 2 guys, and you need 12.
3.
So.
We had 3. We had Cash Thomas, Al Eichelberger, and Torrey Patton. None of them were going anywhere.
Hey, Eichelberger, back out of high school was supposed to like go to Duke. So.
He ended up at DePaul and then transferred to Cleveland State. So
he was a big
Bob,
deal.
you guys had 3 rostered players.
we had 3
scholarship
rostered
athletes?
players. Yeah, we had 3 scholarship athletes. Yes, we did.
Oh my God! I thought NKU was in a bad spot.
We should be better.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I can't.
But again, let's not again. And we had 3 people, and then 2 guys from the transfer portal, Jalen Hill and Spider Johnson. They're back, so we got 5 scholarship athletes from last year, and then we signed like 5 more. So we've got like 10 guys on the team right now. That's not counting Justin Hill, who was like one of the last signees of the Dennis Felton era. I don't know. He did say he was recommitted to Cleveland State. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what's going on with him. I guess we'll find out this week. And then everybody else is in the transfer portal who may or may not come back, which includes Steph Kenich, Debaji Walker, who I'm not sure is probably going to come back. Seth Milner, who's, as I understand it, is definitely not coming back. God, who else? The grad transfer, Jalen Williams. I don't think he's coming back.
But where are they going to go? Because there can't be that many D1 schools with.
I have no idea.
Watch Milner end up at like Davenport or.
I mean, school starts in a week.
Yeah.
Right.
Holy crap! Really?
Really?
I mean, basically, yeah.
Well, clock's ticking. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, it's the 11th. Oh my god.
Yep. So yeah, it is. I know. What time flies.
I need to
Summer
sell some
is
cars.
going far
That's
away.
That's what we were trying to figure out because we had an open scholarship on our roster, and so I was like, you know what, guys? Like I posted this on our fan page. I was like, we have a week and a half basically till class is in session.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to do with this open scholarship? And I posted like all these different options. One of them was like give it to a walk on basically,
Yeah.
and that option got like a lot of responses, and I was kind of surprised. And people were in the comments saying, "Dude, school starts in like 10 days. Like, who do we think we're going to get?" Well, the next day we end up signing somebody. So
Yeah, that's true.
You think you have a lot of scholarships open? According to the people who went to the golf outing, we have 3 because Junior and Calipari Jr. and Dwayne Rose's nephew all are paid for by someone else.
Really? Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, Antoine Davis makes sense, but okay. So they still have 3 scholarship spots left, even though they got all these. Okay, fair enough.
And he plans on
Do we-
signing 3 people.
Is Mercy eligible for the tournament next year? I saw something that they weren't, but I thought y'all were going to appeal it.
Well, so we are right now. What they have to do is wait until Jermaine Jackson Jr. and Jack Ballantyne officially enroll at LIU. And once they're officially announced and on the roster and there, then we can appeal, and it should be pretty easy because they tanked their APR on purpose.
Okay. So they had
I'm not legally saying that because I don't want Jermaine Jackson Sr. to sue me. However, they did both take a year off of school, and that just somehow tanked our APR. So if you're listening to this, Jermaine, no, I did not say that. You did not do that willingly. However, those two gentlemen did happen to take a sabbatical, which then tanked their APR.
Which, ironically, we actually said that. We said that last episode, so you're in the clear there, Carrick.
Yeah, but his people know where I live.
Oh, well, I don't know what to tell you on that one, man.
He used to live down the street from me. I don't mess around with Jermaine.
Oh, well.
Jermaine is like, you know that Jim Croce song, Don't Mess with Jim?
Oh.
He's Jim.
Oh, he's Jim. Okay, great.
I thought I was Jim.
Well,
I thought you were Jim, too.
I feel like the decision, Carrick, I feel like the decision on that is gonna completely swing the horizon. Like if they decide to keep them ineligible, I could see Detroit saying fuck it and just not really playing that well all season. But if they get eligible for the tournament, I could see them being one of the better teams.
Yeah, I guess they're waiting on that to decide what they do with Justin Miller, the transfer from Louisiana. He's pretty good, I guess. He's like a big stretch 3-4 guy. They got a really weird, interesting roster. They have no post at all. They have Curry
Welcome to the
and
club.
a lot of swing guys that shoot threes, and this guy from Belgium that apparently is really, really good. So, and there's a mystery 7-footer apparently.
Ooh, mystery 7-footer. All right.
Oh, good. It's Jason Bennett. That's his...
What?
My freshman year, I walked into the learning center to take a test, and they had him up on a chair screwing in light bulbs because he didn't want to do his work, so they were going to put him to work.
Oh, fun. Fun. All right.
like the team was putting him to work, or
No,
Jesus.
the people in the learning center were like, okay, you don't want to study, that's fine. We need these light bulbs changed.
What?
I really hope those light bulbs were perfectly fine too.
Oh, yeah, probably.
How many 7-footers does it take to change a light bulb?
Wait for it. How? I don't know.
No punchline?
How many?
One.
All right. With that sad trombone.
All right.
So with that sad trombone, we're gonna close out the we're gonna wrap everything up, gentlemen. Mark, Carrick, Kyle, thank you guys for joining us, folks. We look forward to seeing what you have to bring to the table for the site. Looking forward to your insight.
Awesome,
Yeah, for
thanks
sure.
for having me.
So.
Can't wait.
Thanks for having us.
Yep, no problem. And of course, you can always find episodes of the podcast on the site, horizonroundtable.com, which will be populated with other content soon. You can also find us wherever you find podcasts, and of course, you can access the podcast on your Amazon or Google devices. And with that, thank you everybody for listening.